The Useful Pile by Kate Orman. The doctor adjusted his new scarf. He had lost one on Lancashire, along with one of his lives and a perfectly good umbrella. Still, he had found another umbrella to replace the rainbow-coloured one, and a paisley scarf to replace the tartan. He was stuck with the regeneration, of course, but he didn't mind regenerating. Old hat by now, nothing to bother about. Oh, rubbish. He hated it. Just when you were getting used to yourself. He sighed. Another planet saved, another evil scheme thwarted, all the loose ends tied up. Except one. His old coat was draped across the back of a chair, a sad pile of mismatched colours. He picked it up. It was almost as big as he was. He sat down on the wardrobe room floor and started to empty the pockets of the coat. 15 minutes later, he gazed glumly at the huge heap of objects. He was going to have to be really strict with himself and throw some of this stuff away. All right. The telescope, magnifying glass, ball of string and flashlight were all genuinely useful. Except that the flashlight didn't work, but never mind. He'd find some batteries later. He put the four things together into his genuinely useful pile. Now, what about the rest of it? He started to pick up things at random. Galactic passport, bifocals, a handkerchief, a brooch. He turned the brooch round in his hands. Aztec gold glistened dully in the dim light. Smiling to himself, he tucked it into his jacket pocket. He gave the yo-yo an experimental flick. It worked. Good. That went into the useful pile. The car aerial had been very handy on Mars once. It might be handy again someday. He read a few pages from each of the books and put them in the useful pile so that he could finish them later. It took 45 minutes to read his business cards, from Archimedes to Zola. They went into the jacket pocket, along with the membership card for the Alpha Centurion Table Tennis Club. His recorder, of course, and the cricket ball he'd broken the century record with. He chewed one of the jelly babies, still not stale, useful for boosting the blood sugar. A pocket mirror. Not yet, he told it, and put it carefully aside. A tangle of circuitry turned out to be a mixture of TARDIS components and parts from his pocket watch. Well, he couldn't leave them lying around. Fireworks. Useful against yetis and for unblocking volcanic ducts. Cat badges. Sentimental value. 1901 Great Western Railway ticket. Well, it wasn't used, he couldn't waste it. You could never tell when you were going to need alien change, so a potpourri of coins went into the useful pile. Oil can. That was for the slide controls on the TARDIS console. He couldn't remember for the life of him why he had the fox mask. Better hold on to it until he figured it out. Same for the spoon. The other one must be around somewhere. That was the last of it. He looked at the jumble of objects in the useful pile. I hope there's room in my new jacket for everything. So what was left? A caramel covered in pocket fluff. He tossed it into a wastepaper basket. And, of course, the mirror. He picked it up. He had seen himself since the regeneration, of course, but only in quick glimpses, not properly. He had been avoiding proper consideration of his new appearance. He was, after all, a new person. He didn't know himself, his new self. Regeneration was a lucky dip. You never knew what you were going to get, personality or face. Gingerly, he opened the mirror. A face looked back at him, one eye open, cautious. Would he like the change? Would he like himself? Well... He opened his other eye. I suppose I'll get used to it, he told the face in the glass. It smiled at him, and he put it in the useful pile.